podcast, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful Testers. In this one-off mini-series, software test leaders and recruiters of software testers come together to share stories and give tips and advice on how to secure a long-term career in this amazing industry.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the 7th and final episode in this mini-series of the 7 Habits of Highly Successful Testers. So in and amongst the episodes, we've had some retrospectives and we've had a real think about what the real important tips are that we would give you guys for trying to get a nice successful long-term testing career. And I think if we had to have a 7th tip that was perhaps the most important of all, it would be graft. And Charlie's going to explain why.
Yes, so I think looking at the other 6 habits and having a day job, you can't really do all that at the same time unless you're willing to put the effort in. So if you're seen as a go-to person, you may well be getting a call sort of at the end of the day or even after the end of the day. And if you're looking to help your manager, maybe they're in a meeting, you need to catch them before they leave. That means you're staying in the office later than you might normally do. So it's just having the expectation that if you want to be a highly successful tester, you're going to have to put the graft in. And whether that's working at ultra levels of productivity in your day job to make sure you've got time within that day to sort of practice these other habits, or whether that's knowing that you may well have to sacrifice some time outside of work in order to sort of cultivate your network or to any of the other things that we've touched upon in previous habits. So it's just knowing that it is going to take hard work and embracing and being ready for it, to make sure that you can keep practicing these habits and they're going to have long-term benefits for you.
Yeah, I think one of the things to do with putting the extra effort in and really putting the graft in is not shying away from complex scenarios or complex projects or products. Don't feel like, rolling your eyes at something that's going to be hard. Going on full head steam ahead and actually trying to deal with that complex situation and putting the effort in. It might feel a bit complex and hard, like you can't do it, but if you work hard and you put the effort in, then you should be able to come out, good in the end. And having put that extra effort and really working hard will make you stand out as well, because your boss and whoever is around you will know, wow, that is actually a piece of complex work and you've managed to battle through it. So
I think part of this ties back to flexibility as well, because there is some give and take in this. I wouldn't want people to think that we are advocating working 24/7, never being off call, ruining your mental health, having no work-life balance, because that's not a sustainable long-term solution. But there are times when, things might be a bit quiet, perhaps, in one particular area of your life, and you can just kick on and you can just take the opportunities that come to you to just push yourself that little bit more, not constantly, because that's not healthy. But if you want to really bake in your success, just make sure you are visible as someone who is a grafter, because you'll be amazed at the opportunities that will land on your door just for having that attitude, just for being the one that isn't always the first to leave, the one that is always coming up for a reason why something hasn't been done, the one that can, push through to deliver something, even though it's hard work. That will probably be seen as more valuable implicitly than the technical skills that you might have on your CV or a lot of other things that you could have going for you. So it really does make the difference, doesn't it?
When I thought about graft, I was thinking about the fact that, when I think about working in IT, there's always so much change and there's always so many things to learn, in terms of the technology and processes and all this stuff. And I think that you do need, in order to be highly successful, if that's what you're looking to do, then I think that you do need to put the graft in to, you know, try and keep up to date with new technologies, and you need to be continuously learning, and that's just, you know, part of being in this industry. And, you know, I'm not saying you have to go home every night and, you know, start coding and whatever, but even if you just decide, okay, for say 2 hours a week or an hour a week or any amount of time, I'm just gonna sit down and I'm just gonna research something new, or I'm gonna try and learn something new. And I think if you do that, then, you know, you'll always be gaining that knowledge. And I think that's, you know, that's what I was kind of thinking of when I was thinking about grafting, because a lot of, you know, friends of mine, they don't have to be continuously learning in the jobs that they're in, you know, and they just learn on the job. But I think with technology, you do have to put that extra effort in if you do want to move forward and move ahead.
I mean, do you guys notice when you're hearing about the questions that are asked in interviews or what managers look for? I know that one of the things that we used to ask in a previous role is, how do you keep up to date with testing trends? You know, what are you doing to know how the world of testing is evolving and what that looks like? And if someone just said, well, I'll just wait for my boss to tell me what to do, or, you know, I don't know, something really loose, it doesn't show the same amount of enthusiasm and passion as someone that says, yeah, I go to Ministry of Testing meetups, or I'll check out this person's blog because it's really good, or I listen to this amazing podcast called The 7 Habits of Highly Successful Testers. It's great. You know, but just those little things, just keep an eye in on what people are saying, because people are really happy to give their opinions and stuff, and it doesn't take much to know about emerging trends and keep an eye on stuff. So I think you should.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, just going on to, because I think you mentioned sort of hiring managers and what they sort of look out for. And I think the biggest thing that I've seen, and we've been to, Georgie and me have sat in a lot of sort of webinars and had a lot of sort of events where we've gone to, and some of the biggest things that people are looking for is enthusiasm and sort of like a work ethic, just because it's difficult to teach that. And if someone has the enthusiasm to sort of progress their career and learn a certain piece of tech or whatever, if they do have that sort of aptitude to do so, then they will learn it, rather than someone that's just going in not too enthusiastic, not a very good work ethic. You can't really teach those skills. They're just what people have, I guess. So it's definitely something which hiring managers value a hell of a lot. So
I think it all boils down to passion as well. Like when you're speaking to someone, like when I'm speaking to someone on the phone, you can sense if they're passionate about something or not. You can sense if they're passionate about an opportunity when you're speaking to them about it. And sometimes it's about going with your gut feeling and knowing that someone is passionate or not. Because again, when I was on about in, I think, series 5 about a shopping list, being to the moon, being to everything, you could have someone who's done absolutely everything, but comes in, just does the work and goes home. Or you could have someone who is passionate about what they do, goes home every night, reads up on things. I mean, you've got to have a life as well, but reads up on things and really, really wants to get to the next step and sees where they want to be. That second person will be miles better than that first person, because they're always wanting to develop, always wanting to drive forwards.
Yeah, I mean, one of my old managers said to me, he mentally divides people into 2 categories, grafters and plodders. And I actually think you need both. You need those people that will come in every day, do a good job, and then go home again, and they're reliable and they're consistent, and, you know, they don't have to be constantly doing something innovative and cutting edge, bleeding edge tech. Like, there's definitely a space for those people. And we're talking about, you know, the whole theme of this podcast is becoming a successful tester. And that might be defining success as constantly getting jobs with more money and more responsibility and climbing that career ladder. Or it might just be growing kind of horizontally, growing your skills and staying in successful long-term employment. And there's a space for people who don't think about testing 24/7. Like, absolutely, there is a space for those people, but it is a point of difference if you do some of the things that we've been talking about, and it doesn't have to. You don't have to dedicate your whole life to it. It might just be one meetup a week that you go to that you didn't go to before, and you could meet one person through that opportunity that then tells you that there's a job going at their place in a year down the line or whatever. These little, there was someone that said a quote called, "I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the luckier I get." And I think that's totally true. Like, the opportunities that will come your way if you just put that extra bit of effort in. That's what I think.
Absolutely, I was going to say I had a really similar sort of situation. So a candidate I was working with recently. So he was a contractor, to be fair, but he reached out to me. He was called Brandon, and he's down in the Midlands. And I did a post about it on LinkedIn the other day, but he was absolutely relentless with his job search, like messaging everyone whenever he could, posting a lot, helping a lot of people out. And then when I spoke to him, when he finally secured like the perfect role for him, he was like, "Yeah, to be fair, I just got really lucky with it." And yeah, I literally said to him, I was like, it's not luck at all. You've put in a lot of graft, you've reached out to a lot of people, you've helped a lot of people, you've spoken to a lot of people. The reason why you got that role, it was because you put in the work to do, like to actually get it, and it was the right one for you in the end. And I think same with anything, it's exactly the same. Like you say, you're not lucky, you just make your own opportunities, which I think is definitely the way to sort of go forward.
You've made it to the end of the 7 Habits of Highly Successful Testers podcast.